Welcome to Cinemondo with Kathy and Ramesh.
Hello.
We're very excited because we're going to talk about Lokah Chapter 1. Finally saw it. It was so great. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
Talk
it's
about it.
it's a very nice movie. I mean, especially so for me, what stood out is basically, bringing in the traditional vampire lore
Mm-hmm.
in the movie. That too, especially Indian cinema, because there we don't have a lot of movies to begin with.
Yeah.
Uh, and the best part is the way they reimagined it. Like they keep referring to a particular folklore
Mm.
character in the movie. It's nice. I mean, they reimagined basically a folklore character, which is a who is a legendary figure in Kerala folklore, and bringing in infusing with vampire lore. That was quite
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah, I like the folk kind of horror that
Hmm.
merged with vampire. I did not when I saw the trailer, I did not foresee this being a vampire movie. I thought it was going to be a superhero movie and they had little hints that it was like kind of like a spider bite kind of thing and it
Yeah,
sort of is, but it's pretty much a vampire movie. So, but she has kind of she doesn't want to turn anyone, so she's very
yeah,
careful about like not biting people because and this sounds cheesy, but they handle it in a very low key background way. You're not like it's not they're not overly discussing the vampirism. They're
yes, that's
it's
true.
yeah, and I like
Yeah.
that because he sees her from a distance and has a big crush on her, and
Hmm.
she always just shuts the curtains because she want to deal because she's been around a while. She's probably
Yeah.
seen a lot of men fall in love with her over the 300 years, however old she is, 130 years or something. It has a sense of humor in that way, but I love how first of all it's a female lead.
Hmm.
She's very deadpan, which,
Yeah.
a little limited, but at the same time, I feel like that's kinda how you might be as a vampire because 'cause you've seen it all. You'd be kinda like, "Yeah,
Hmm.
whatever." So she had that, but I love how she wasn't like the sexy, vampy vampire. She was just dressed like a normal young girl. She had on, like, her jacket and her just kinda sporty and just kinda they weren't playing it for, like, the goth, sexy seduction
Yeah.
kind of thing. It was more like she's just doing her thing and she's not dressing up for anybody and she's just being a normal person. And I really liked that because I feel like it gave her, I think, a little bit more of an edge that she's capable.
Hmm.
But at the same
Yeah,
time,
that's
this
true.
is still felt like an origin story for a superhero movie. So I still feel like there's a superhero vibe in this. And that especially when some of the cameos come in, you feel like we're kind of putting together sort of a DC crew of
Hmm.
people that'll be have these superhero powers, whatever they may be.
Yeah,
That was kind of
that's true. I mean, this is definitely a female superhero film because uh, K- Kalyani Priyadarshan, who
yeah.
portrays the role of Chandra, she definitely delivered a powerful, um, action scenes. There are basically she's capturing both vulnerability and the strength, as you said, for that particular character. And yeah, she's basically anchoring the film's
Yeah.
emotional core, I would say.
Yeah, and I felt
Yeah.
like she could pull off what she was doing, like, they had
Yes.
it wasn't like, this waifish kind of, sexy girl who's doing it. No, she's kind of a badass girl, and she's wearing her tennis shoes, and she's, like, you know, got her cool
Hmm.
clothes, easy to work in clothes. Yeah, I don't know, I liked her tough chick vibe, it was very cool. So,
Yeah.
you almost weren't foreseeing her being the superhero because there was no costume, there was no
Yeah.
vampiness, it was just underplayed coolness that turns into kind of superpowers that she then has to eventually use to
Yeah.
rescue people that she cared about. But at
Hmm.
the same time, they don't even get too cloying about the potential romance. Because there's always, whenever I see a vampire movie, it comes down to you fall in love with a vampire,
You
you're
turn into
human,
a vampire.
you want to be a vampire? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
would you be a vampire? Are they going to turn them into a vampire? Because we all saw, I'm
Yeah.
assuming we all saw what was that movie called with David Bowie in it? Oh, I forgot. Tony Scott directed it. Can't remember the title, but they talk about the vampire who falls in love with people. Like this vampire falls in love with David Bowie, and she's with
Hmm.
him, and they're just like going to the clubs and being super cool. But she's having to watch him age because she didn't want to make him a vampire. So she's going through all these loves of her life, and they age and they die, and she's has to live without them anymore. So
Yeah.
isn't there always that temptation, like in What We Do in the Shadows? Make me a vampire.
That is always the case. I mean, especially if you talk about like true romantic stories,
Yes.
but this isn't that kind of a movie
No,
because
it's not.
especially Naslin's character, like he plays Sunny in the movie.
Yeah.
He's basically a charming, likable goofball, who
Yeah.
basically falls for
way
Chandra.
out of his league.
Yeah,
Falls in love with the girl. No way would he get a shot at her.
but he doesn't turn into a vampire,
No.
so that's a good thing. I mean, I basically enjoyed the scenes where where he wherever basically there is a plot twist and he is a part of that scene.
Yeah.
So the way he enacts that, it's with ease.
Yes.
So
I like that too.
he's like he is at the state of shock and awe at the same time. So it's like
Mhm.
he blanks out.
I know, like he was fainting. It's
Yeah.
pretty funny, but I liked the idea that she had bigger things to do there, that she's trying
Mm-hmm.
to help, and I also liked her backstory of her as a child. That was pretty wrenching, really, when you see the parents and her as a child, and
Yeah.
they're sacrificing the parents, and then they kill her. You think, and then all of a sudden she's resurrected. She comes back, and she can kill all the people who killed her, but her parents were always like haunting her, that her parents had to die, the mother screaming for it. It was really intense for a movie that sort of had a lighter feel, especially when it
Mm-hmm.
started and we're having a party. It was all having a party, they're having music and they're all dancing, like it was just kind of goofball, young people having fun, and being drunk and hungover, and then we have her enter the picture, and then it's like, what's happening? So I liked
Yeah.
just sort of establishing that kind of, we're just having fun to not having fun anymore because there's
Yeah.
bigger things happening. I guess it was an organ trafficking ring, which I thought was an
Yes.
interesting choice.
Yeah.
Not
I
drugs, organ trafficking.
I mean, it had a bit of everything. I think the movie was addressing several social issues, I would say,
Yeah.
and one or the other scenes. Uh,
Mhm.
but yeah, like even Inspector Gowda, he basically played by Sandy Master. He stands out as the
Right.
antagonist there.
He
Like
was
he's
great.
basically portraying male chauvinism with intensity.
Oh, big
Like
time.
he's a big so.
Yeah. He was bad. He was very bad. And I like how they kinda made him the bad guy.
Uh-huh.
And then she's having to, there's the people that don't want to be necessarily want to be vampires. When they turn into vampires, they're drunk with the power, and then they're like,
Yeah.
I like this, So then she's got to like, this is why I don't bite people. It's like, I don't know what they're going to do. So she then has to like, now I got to deal with this guy. Like he's
Yeah.
going off the rails. He's really strong and he's using it. Like because he already has that inclination to want to hurt people and
Mm-hmm.
dominate. He's already going there. So I love that
Yeah.
idea too. Like you're saying, now a woman has to fight this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a pretty good job, I thought, too, with a lot of the stunt work. It didn't feel overly like, too flashy or slow motion. Like they had her like leaping from really high distances and landing, or they had
Mm-hmm.
like her attacking people and rushing, kind of like jumping through the air. But it never felt like too like
Yeah.
Bollywood or anything. Like
Mm.
they really brought it into the vampire power zone. It
Mm-hmm.
never was like, yeah, power. But I could totally see this easily turning into a superhero franchise, which I guess is kind of where they're going, apparently.
Yeah. So it's nice. I mean, yeah, a few things that I did notice in the movie were the character names themselves.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
Chandra basically stands for moon.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah,
That's
and
appropriate.
and the male protagonist, his name is Sunny, which is kind of uh, yeah, the
Aw.
opposites. You know, because she
Oh,
cannot survive in the sunlight, so she basically can survive only in the night.
I love
Yeah.
that. They had a fun
Uh,
relationship, I thought. I mean, you kind of he was almost too goofy, like I said, she was just so out of his league, and
mhm.
even though he was following her around like a puppy, I liked how she felt like she had a friend, someone she could explain stuff to, like when she got the delivery of blood, like in the refrigerated box, and he's like,
Yeah.
"So, what is it?" And he's like telling her, "Oh," she goes, "It's this kind of blood type because it's the most pure and it's really tasty."
Yeah.
He's like, what? So, but then that comes back later where he kind of saves the day, where
Yeah.
he knows what it can do for her when she's like down and out. He can just get her blood
Mhm.
and heal her, and that was kind of a cool idea too. So I
Yeah.
love that idea of when a woman's down, which happens to her, they
Mhm.
don't realize she's slowly healing and she's going to come back. So I
Mhm.
like that too because all the men were like, "Ah, we got her," we took her down. There was a really disturbing scene with some dogs I did not enjoy. It was like not good with the dogs, but
Yeah.
that she got the guy, so I appreciate that.
Mhm.
As long as you're getting revenge for the dog abuse, I'm a good. I don't
Yeah.
like it. But I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a really good job. I thought the tone was right. They had like just a little. They're having some fun. They had some, the dark backstory that brings some more emotion to the surface.
Mhm.
And I thought, even though her performance was kind of like not super emotive, I don't think it needed to be, because she's kind of, like I said, she's seen it all. She doesn't need to be that.
Yeah,
She's kind of cut off from her. She doesn't want to get involved with anyone. She's sort of like moving on. And he's like, "Where are you
that's
going?" She's like,
true. Yeah,
"Leaving."
because in a way, this movie avoids the standard superhero, trope by
Yeah,
making the protagonist journey one of like
yeah,
self-preservation, not just like
yeah,
saving others,
yeah.
and which basically leaves a lot of room for emotional growth of the character itself in the future
Right.
franchise too.
That's true.
So that does help
Point.
for the
Yeah.
movie.
It really does. So I like that they weren't overly precious about anything. So
Hmm.
that was a really great first entry. It felt really fresh. I really, really liked her, and the whole vibe of her was great. And she was very independent, very powerful. That's cool for women in film. I enjoyed that, because they easily could have made this a male vampire. Easily.
They could have,
But they went
and
with the female vampire, which I think was even better, because, like you said, there's so much context between the chauvinism and women being powerless and women being
mhm,
powerful, and how that's sometimes used against them. I thought that was really great how they did that without being preachy. So
yeah.
really appreciate that, and I will always enjoy a vampire movie. It's like, I just love
And
that.
there's one other thing that I noticed is, especially, these are kind of like the Easter eggs in the movie where
Oh yeah,
they
yeah,
had these graffitis, cryptic graffitis on the wall saying she's
oh
coming
yeah, yep.
right before her fight scene, and there are like these cheeky T-shirt slogans, especially when she tells Sunny that she trusts him. So basically, he doesn't tell her secret to anyone, and he's like running in his. He's basically dreaming that she's chasing him to kill him. So he wears this T-shirt which says "Oh boy" with a Mickey Mouse on it. I don't know if you know.
Yes, that's right. So
Yeah,
funny. It had little fun things, and then we had
yeah.
some great cameos. I don't know if we've mentioned those. We had
Hmm.
some great cameos. Definitely stay through the credits if you guys are there. And it's funny too, because most of the cast is relatively unknown. I love
Yeah.
that. Also, it's also cool to see Malayalam doing a superhero movie. They've done a few
Hmm.
that have been great. We
Hmm.
love those. And the fact they brought Tovino Thomas in this to this level, he was
Yeah.
so. And I'm just giving away one because he has the biggest role of the cameos. He's so funny, so interesting. Like, I wanted him in every scene. His wardrobe, everything about him. He was so mischievous. He was just like pulling all kinds of weird stunts and walking on the ceiling, and like, using little special powers to sort of mess with people. He
Hmm.
was fantastic, and he's always great.
Yeah.
Thomas is great. So then there's a few other big ones. Be sure and stay through the credits. Everybody freaked out. Everybody's cheering when they see the cameos, because they're pretty good. I mean, you can predict who some of them are going to be. It's Malayalam, you can imagine. It's
Yeah.
not Mahmoodi, people. Just telling you right now, it's not Mahmoodi. But you do get some good ones. So definitely stay through to the end. Wait for that last credit sequence, because there's lots of great action. It's not just like a mysterious turning and you see his face. No, we get some stuff. So stay there.
Hmm.
Definitely watch it. And let us know what you thought of the movie if you've seen it. Put it in the credits. It's doing well at the box office. It's doing very well. Happy to
Yeah.
see that. Seeing a female-led kind of superhero thing leading the charge. And any last thoughts on this movie, Ramesh?
Yeah, maybe the audiences, they can highlight any other Easter eggs that
Yeah.
we missed,
Hmm.
possible references to the future franchise,
Yeah.
and the folklores. I believe like some of them have been drawn like inspiration from local folklore, so maybe they can give
I
us
love that.
insight about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about
So,
that. Definitely. Yeah, give us your little review in the credits without too many spoilers. Let us know what you
mhm.
thought. All right, talk to you guys later. Be sure to like, subscribe,
Bye.
and comment. Bye.